Good morning, everybody. Welcome to a Tuesday morning edition of Sports Shorts Daily. Ronnie Rance alongside Tommy Chrysant. TK coming to you from Court Street Cafe in Port Allen today on Sports Shorts Daily. We're going to talk a lot of LSU baseball. I'm coming to you from the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame studios. And as always, we couldn't be here without our good friends over at LeBear's Casino, where they had Brian McKnight in concert on Saturday night. Casey McKenzie, the general manager of the Rougarou, almost caused the disturbance at the Brian McKnight concert. He had first row seats, Tommy. It was front row tickets to Brian McKnight. He loves Brian McKnight. He and I share in that passion. But he saw Brian McKnight's a great story. He saw Brian McKnight's tour manager, this older guy, Kane, got the mask on and everything. He saw him earlier in the day on property when he went there to pick up his tickets. And you know how the Baton Rouge Rougarou do. You know, we try to get the jersey in front of all the celebs and all that kind of stuff. So he says to the guy, "Hey, man, I'm a player here at LeBear's. I'm going to be on the front row tonight. I'll work with the Baton Rouge Rougarou or a summer college baseball team. Thank you very much, Rachel. Appreciate the birthday love. We do this thing with the jerseys where thank you, Craig, where we give away these we give these jerseys and take a picture and all that kind of stuff. You think we could get Brian to do that?" And he gives the guy his business card. And, the guy says, "Yeah, we'll work on that, or I'll give you a call or something." Anyway, they walk away. Well, a few hours later, about two hours later or so, still about an hour or two before the concert, he gets a call from his buddy who's a executive host at LeBear's, and there's an all points bulletin. Be on the lookout for a Casey McKenzie who says he's going to come on stage and present Brian McKnight with something, and all like what? So he gets a call. Of course they're laughing. I mean, people that know Casey know it's a joke. I mean, and they know he's just trying to meet him maybe at some point and get a picture with him. He's not going to run up on stage and tackle Brian McKnight, or something like that. So anyway, he had a good time, but security was eyeballing Casey all night at the concert. Today on the show, let's talk about LSU baseball. We will also talk PGA golf. The championships had so many storylines. The NBA finals, one of the teams is in. The other will probably be in tonight. LeBron James might be retiring. That's a giant story. We're going to talk Rougarou, NFL, the whole nine. LSU baseball. First off, the Tigers will be in action tomorrow at 9:30 against the winner of South Carolina and Georgia. Am I correct on that? Yeah.
Correct.
South Carolina and Georgia. That means Sports Shorts Daily will come on tomorrow at 2:30 Central. So we'll be on at 2:30 Central tomorrow, kind of like a little post-game show. But the SEC all-tournament team, the SEC all SEC teams came out, and LSU had three guys on the first team. They had no surprise: Skeens, Cruz, and White. They were probably preseason all SEC anyway. Those three are in the all SEC, and then Skeens and Cruz, which Cruz had some competition for Player of the Year in the conference. Both of them were named Player of the Year. Cruz, that's back-to-back years. Skeens, of course, probably going to be the National Pitcher of the Year. No Tommy White. Tommy White had a great year. He'll probably be the Player of the Year next year is my prediction. But nobody on the second team. And then, of course, Jared Jones made the all-freshman team as an LSU player. A little surprised. Cruz had to battle to be Player of the Year.
Yeah, he did. Especially he did tail off the last 3 weeks of the season. He called it a slump. That's what it was for him, especially his standards. But, he deserves it. He's the best player in the league, maybe the best player in the country, not counting pitchers. So, and he won it, and that's a two-time winner now because he won it last year. And that's
TK, I'm going to step
rare.
aside here for a quick call. I want you to talk about real quick LSU baseball this week and the thoughts on the SEC championship.
Yeah, well, LSU will play at 9:30 against the winner of Georgia and South Carolina. That game will start on time. You know how it goes in the SEC network, in the SEC tournament in Hoover. These games, tend to start after a scheduled time. In fact, now they just put TBA. But 9:30 tomorrow morning, they'll play the winner of Georgia and South Carolina who play today. I haven't seen anything yet on who's pitching. I don't think it'll be Paul Skeens. It might be Johnny Holstaff. And piece it together with some guys and try to find out a way to get find out a way to get 27 outs is what they're going to have to do. We are going to do Sports Shorts Daily tomorrow at 2:30. I'll be at Tremonti's Meat and Seafood, kind of be a post-game thing and set you up the rest of that in Hoover. Now, also typically in Hoover, raindrops. You can have delays. You can have suspensions, all that stuff. So every game's on the SEC network until the finals, which are on ESPN2. So just stay connected on social media or the SEC conference website. They'll have all the information, the pertinent announcements. It'll be all over Twitter. And, of course, all the people that cover LSU will be all over that. One ironic thing about the SEC tournament, 12 of the 14 teams make the tournament in Hoover. The two teams that did not make it, the last two College World Series champs, Mississippi State and Ole Miss. Wow. But, hey, it's going to be a wild and crazy tournament. A lot of good players, a lot of fun happening out there. And I don't know what LSU will do. It'll depend on this first game. It's a double elimination once LSU starts playing. I would think Skeens throws on Thursday, time to be announced. And they got a 99% chance of winning that game. But it will be double elimination. Today's games at the SEC are single elimination. Lose and you go home. The winners advance. Then it becomes double elimination until the championship game, which is for all the marbles, regardless of how many losses you might have. Kind of everybody knows that drill. There'll be a lot of LSU fans in Hoover. It's a nice ballpark. It's a ton of SEC fanfare and all that stuff. Great for the families and the kids, and that's what they'll have there. So we'll stay in touch on that. Also, Paul Skeens, Dylan Cruz, and Tommy White are among 3 finalists for the Golden Spikes Award. They shortened that list up. Wake Forest also has 3 guys on that list. I'll tell you, it's going to be LSU Wake Forest for the national championship in Omaha. Remember where you heard it first. Old TK said it right here at Court Street Cafe in Port Allen. So Wake Forest and LSU, the only 2 teams with 3 guys on the Golden Spikes Awards finalist list. And Ronnie, I pretty much gave him a rundown.
All right, so as far as LSU baseball is concerned, right now they are in a position that I did not think they would be in, Tommy, going into the postseason, and that is, quite frankly, a little bit of an underdog. I mean, I know they're going to be a top 8 national seed, and you don't say anybody who's a top 8 national seed is an underdog, but everybody's talking about Florida. I mean, by the way, if LSU beats Georgia, they win the SEC championship. And they were in a game, and here's the thing that's scary. This is the problem with LSU baseball right now, and that is, unless Ty Floyd is really good, how are they going to win a super regional? I mean, Sunday, the last game of the regular season summed up perfectly the problems of LSU baseball right now. Everybody was atrocious, that pitched on Sunday, minus the last guy, which was the freshman lefty, whose name's escaping me at the moment. He threw well at the end when it was kind of like over with. But the first 4 guys all were bad. And so, if the game is on the line, and trust me, they wanted to win that game to win the SEC championship, and they would have, because Arkansas lost. And they tried to win it. They threw with the best guys they possibly had. And against Georgia, a team that had 10 wins in 29 games in league play going into that game, they weren't anywhere in the same class as Georgia on the last game. So how are you going to be in a super regional or in Omaha if you got somebody not named Skeens and you got Floyd, who's good about 60% of the time? Outside of those 2, that's why that third game of they got to wrap it up first 2 games. They've got to just in a super regional win the first 2 games. They go to a game 3 and they've already burned their top 4 pitchers. I have zero confidence right now. I don't care where they play, home or not.
Well, and Ronnie, it's going to go back to what we said a couple of weeks ago. You have to outscore somebody. Super regional, you got to get 2 wins. You got 99% chance when Skeens on the mound. Then if Floyd don't step up, you're going to have to win a game 12-10 or 14-13. You're going to have that happen, whether it's at the box or not, unless Floyd steps up, kind of does what he did at Ole Miss when he went, 8 1/3. But Ole Miss and Mississippi State, they aren't even in Hoover. So, it's hard to really measure that strongly. But anyway, it's a valid question. I think your term underdog speaks a lot for them. They'll win the regional because the 3rd and 4th seeds aren't going to be able to, beat LSU twice. A lot of rumors that who's going to come there. We'll just wait and see. and let it play out. But it's certainly a question mark for LSU baseball after Paul Skeens. When you get to the bump, it's a crapshoot.
I mean, right now the two hot teams are Tennessee and Florida, and then you throw in a little bit of Arkansas as well. Is there, so those three teams are much hotter and probably right now more confident than LSU is going into postseason. But the great thing about this postseason is that from a college baseball fan, not necessarily from an LSU baseball fan, but from a college baseball fan, it's up in the air, and it's going to be super exciting. I mean, I'm curious to see what Wake Forest looks like next week in a regional and how they fare on the national stage, being, a favorite and how, what is Florida and Tennessee and can they keep it going? Is South Carolina getting things turned around and look like the South Carolina the first half of the season? Like there's so many great storylines in college baseball this year. Really looking forward to it. All right, we move on. Let's talk a little bit about the NBA last night. The Denver Nuggets punched their ticket to the finals. The Joker gets another triple-double. He passes Wilt Chamberlain or ties Wilt Chamberlain's triple-double postseason record. And they went 4-0 over the Lakers. The Miami Heat are up 3-0 at the number 8 seed. The Nuggets were expected to be what they are. But the Miami Heat was a number 8 seed. They're up 3-0 on the Boston Celtics. That's a shocker. But, I mean, inevitably they're going to make it to the finals, whether it's tonight or another night. So you're going to have most likely a Nuggets Heat finals, which is not the sexiest for the TV ratings around the country. But LeBron may or may not have stolen the headline after the game.
He did. I mean, he's got to inject himself. I mean, the Nuggets were the much better team. That's obvious. They swept 4. And last night, the Lakers was up 15 and ended up losing the game at home, okay? Nuggets were much better. I mean, no question about it. And then LeBron's got to talk retirement. He's got to make the story about him, not the Lakers getting swept. So it really needs to be about the Nuggets who, were the much better team. The Heat, I think they close it out tonight against the Celtics. And here's the thing, Ron, the finals do not begin until Thursday, June 1. So if the Heat wins tonight, you got 9 days before there's another NBA game. And that's, because they've never had both conference finals swept in the same year. It's never happened, could happen tonight. But that's going to be a little quirky, and the NBA is going to have to try to figure out how to keep people's attention, especially, as you said, it's not the sexiest matchup, Heat and Nuggets, So, they could be staring some poor TV ratings in the face. But the Nuggets were better. LeBron's 38 years old. He just doesn't have it anymore. Father Time's undefeated, catches up to everybody, and it's caught up to LeBron. His numbers last night were good, but, he pushed the guy in the throat. He should have been ejected or at least given a technical foul, but it's LeBron James, and less than 10 people are fans of his.
Look, I would be stunned, shocked, and amazed if LeBron James retires right now because isn't he going to wait on his son? You know what I mean?
And his ego is not going to let him retire without the going away tour. I mean, LeBron loves LeBron more than anybody loves LeBron, and he's going to want that play the last game at Madison Square Garden and in Boston and in Cleveland and in Miami. He's going to want all that because of his ego. But again, the story in the NBA needs to be the Nuggets and whoever they're playing in the finals. We could know that that's the Heat tonight.
So I think for sure LeBron is going to stick around until, Bronny gets into the league, right? I think that's the photo op he wants. He wants the Ken Griffey Sr., Jr., whether they play together, play against each other. I think he's going to do that. And so he may be feeling a certain way now, but I'm not counting on it. Denver, by the way, has never been to the finals. It's a little surprising. They've never been to the finals. Clearly, they are going to be the heavy favorite in Vegas on this one. I was hoping it would be Celtics-Lakers. It's not. It's going to be Heat and Nuggets, and I'll be pulling for the Nuggets. I always like teams that have never won it to finally win it. All right, we what else we got? Oh, the PGA Championship. I talked to a friend of mine who actually worked on the TV crew who was over there this past weekend. What an unbelievable storyline the PGA Championship was. Remember, this is the event that Louisiana Sports Hall of Famer David Toms won about 22 years ago. I think it was 2001 he won the PGA Championship. at the time, a record for the lowest major total combination. Thank you, Aunt Marcia. Appreciate that birthday love. Um, the Live Tour had 4 golfers, Tommy, in the top 20. 4 or 5 golfers in the top 20, and of course Koepka, who won the event, is a live golfer. And if you watched, and you did, right? You watched the Netflix
Every
documentary Full Swing. When you watch that documentary and they feature him in one of the episodes on Netflix, watch it. Even if you're not a golf fan, you'll love it. It's amazing to think that guy is where he is right now, almost won the Masters and won the PGA Championship in his last 2 majors, because in that documentary, which followed him in 2001, 2022, was it 22? Yeah, it followed him in 2022. It seems as if he is a mess and never going to come back.
Yeah, physically didn't know if he could come back. And then, of course, that was working upstairs on the brain. But it's truly a remarkable story. He wins his 5th major, his 3rd PGA. The list of guys that have done that is short, okay? And he's going to be a favorite in the U.S. Open and the British Open that are coming up, in the coming months. But it was quite the story that he fought off Victor Hovland, who, played very well, then had to screw up on the 16th hole, and he hit it into the face of the bunker. Like Scheffler had done the day before. So anyway, it was Koepka was the better golfer on a very tough golf course. But the story became Michael Block, the PGA professional. Like the PGA professional at Greystone. Imagine them getting in the tournament, qualifying for it, and then finishing in the top 15, which guarantees them a spot in next year's PGA. And this week at the Byron Nelson Open over in Fort Worth, he was given a sponsors exemption. So he's going to play this week, and he picked up $288,000 for the efforts in the PGA. He talked about his lessons were $150 for 45 minutes. Said he's not going to change that. Or you could pay $500 and play 9 holes with him, and then he would kind of coach you up during the 9 holes. But, they had the video at his country club out in California, everybody watching him. He got all emotional when Amanda Renner gave some comments from his son and all that. Unbelievable story. And CBS was glad because they were able to focus on him, his success. Right. And then all of a sudden he flies one in the hole. His first hole-in-one ever in his life.
That's
was on the 15th hole at the P. I've never made one. I'm not as good as Michael Block, I promise you. But I've played a lot of par 3s in my day. I've been very close but never made it. But he flies it in, hole-in-one, the roars, the noise. And the funny part, when Koepka was walking off after winning the tournament, Michael Block come up and shook his hand, and Koepka said, "I heard you buying drinks tonight." Okay, because he had made typically when you make the hole-in-one at your club, you got to buy everybody a drink, even if it's out at Greystone. So, and he just laughed. But it turned out everybody bought him drinks. What a story it was, and it allowed the CBS to not talk as much about Liv. Obviously, it had to mention it. The PGA of America director who handed out the trophy, there was not a handshake like there normally is. Some people think he shunned Koepka. Some people think Koepka shunned him. But you didn't have the handshake that you've had every other time a trophy to a tournament champion's been given out. It didn't happen, and the whole Liv golf story. And then Greg Norman popped off about how this proves that Liv's just not a bunch of names, money names, that the guys could really play golf.
Well, I will say this. I mean, I've been impressed. I mean, the Liv golfers did a lot better at the Masters and at PGA than I ever thought they would. Because that was the assumption that these are washed up guys. This is Shambo, who's not playing as well. This is Koepka, who's injured and mentally over it. And Phil Mickelson, who's doing it just because to pay off the gambling debts. And then you got older golfers. So the perception was that these are still relevant names and good golfers, but if they're guys that are over the hill as far as their career is concerned, they probably weren't going to win anything anyway, big time on the tour. And that proved it wrong. I mean, look what Phil did at the Masters, and look what Koepka's done at both, and everything, Cam Smith. The top 10 golfers on the Liv Tour absolutely are big time golfers. The problem that I think the Liv Tour is going to have is they got everybody because they were just blowing people out of the water with the money. Now the PGA Tour is up in the money, changing some of the rules, doing some guarantees, and we're not hearing anything out of Liv this year relative to throwing these big splash dollars around. In fact, we've heard from some of the people who covered the Liv Tour that maybe they're cutting back a little bit on some of the expenses. So, Liv's got to keep being Liv. If Liv tries to be the Rougarou, that's not going to work out. And so Liv's got to keep pounding the money and stealing, 2 top 20 players a year to validate themselves. If not, there'll be a 3-year thing and be done.
Well, here's the other thing, too. With Koepka winning and he and the other guys that'll play in the U.S. Open, the British Show, Ryder Cup is this fall in Spain. U.S. has not won on European soil in decades, okay? And right now, Zach Johnson's the captain of the Ryder Cup. He said Brooks Koepka's in, okay? And then you're going to get – so that story, we'll get to that as it goes forward. But lots of stories. And maybe it's a good thing because people are talking about golf, whether you say LIV or PGA or Ryder Cup or United States Open or PGA Championship or Michael Block, you're still talking about golf when, all of these sports entities in the world, including the Rougarou, are trying to get people to talk about it.
Speaking of the Rougarou, opening day, May 30th. May 30th. Mark your calendar.
1 week.
Yeah, come on out. Check us out 1 week from today, 7 p.m. game time. We play the 30th, the 31st, and the 1st. So go to brrougarou.com, get your tickets, get your $100 season pass. All games, 4 people to every game for only $100. That's literally $1 a ticket, folks. Help support the Rougarou. Tommy,
Jason here at Court Street Cafe just bought a season ticket for the Rougarou.
Nice. We'll appreciate Jason for the love. All right, tell us about Court Street, and we'll get out of here.
Lunch and dinner specials. Connect on Facebook and Instagram. No music this weekend because it's Memorial Day weekend, but they got great things happening at Court Street Cafe. Just a couple of minutes over the bridge, 805 Court Street, downtown Port Allen. Nice patio out front. People eating breakfast out there this morning when I got here. Check them out on Facebook and Instagram. Court Street Cafe in Port Allen, and they are season ticket holders for the Baton Rouge Rougarou.
All right, for Tommy Chrysant, I'm Ronnie Rance. Please like and share this video, and don't forget, come on out May 30th. We'll see you tomorrow, 2:30 p.m. Central Time, kind of a little post game on the LSU baseball game at the SEC tournament. We'll see you then, everybody. Have a good one.